afternoon. Today is Monday, March 4th, and I'm going to be discussing the market here in Silicon Valley. We're going to be looking at Santa Clara County, as well as the City of Santa Clara. City of Santa Clara has been in the news recently with NVIDIA's crazy run in the stock market, and there was a Wall Street Journal article last week talking about the housing market in Santa Clara relative to NVIDIA's performance. And basically the takeaway of the article was there hasn't been too much impact directly from NVIDIA because we have such low inventory here. And so we're going to talk about that. And let's start with looking at the map of Santa Clara County, which comprises Silicon Valley, so right here. So outlined in red here. And the neighboring counties are San Mateo County, which is generally called the Peninsula, San Francisco, which is its own county, and then up here in the East Bay called Alameda County right here. So let's zoom in to the city of Santa Clara right here. So this red border here comprises of the city of Santa Clara, right? So the airport is right next to it. And let's zoom in and show you where the headquarters of NVIDIA are. So NVIDIA is right here. So we can look at the satellite view. This is NVIDIA, right in the middle of Santa Clara. So let's start with looking at the stats for the whole county. So one thing to consider is months of inventory. So right now we have 1.5 months inventory. So last year when prices were a little bit softer, we had a little bit more inventory, right? So 2.5 months here at its peak. And the run up during COVID, we had such low inventory, right? So it went down to 0.5 month inventory here in 2022. So that has reflected in the prices. Okay, so let's now look at the inventory numbers, so actually number of listings. A number of active listings. And we're looking at Santa Clara County, okay? So you can see here that we are in desperate need of more homes to sell. So right, we look here, back at the beginning of COVID, right, we had almost 2,000 homes for sale, okay? And now here, we only have 704, so less than half the number, right? So there's just not enough houses, right? So that is what has really kept and pushed prices up. So there was a little bit of softening last year, but right now it's red hot in our market here in Silicon Valley, right? So now let's look at the median days on market, so how fast it takes for a seller to accept an offer, right? So we're well under 14 days, right? So there was a small increase here in 2023, but now we're back to super fast, single digit number of days until an offer is accepted. So 8 days, so extremely fast, right? So barely over a week, right? And what does that mean? Well, we can look at the prices, right? So this is the median price in Santa Clara County. There's just been this huge increase, right? So we're still below the peak here, right, of COVID, but we've definitely gone up significantly, right? So last month, that median price in Santa Clara County, right, so that's the entire county, was $1.8 million, right? So the peak was 1.95 in 2022. So you can see here the increase from last year, right? So just looking at the February, right? So in 2019, it was 1.157, right? Went all the way up to 1.8 in 2022, down last year, 1.475, and now we're back to 1.8. So it really bounced back. Okay, so let's now jump into specifically the city of Santa Clara, right? So the county is the whole county, but now let's look at what's going on in NVIDIA's hometown. So you can see here just a steady growth in median price, right? So started in 2019 at 1.4, and we're actually surpassing what it was in 2022 of just over 1.9 at $1.96 million as the median sales price. Okay. So let's now look at how many homes have been selling, right? Number available for sale. So we're super low, right? So the peak was 100 in June of 2019, and we only had 35, right, selling in February, right, of this year. So we just have not been able to recover the pre-pandemic inventory, right? It's just been so low, and what that's been is there's been more demand than supply, right? And we can also see that reflected in the days on market, right? So 2019 is taking double-digit number of days, 18, 10, right? And then now we've just been stuck in single-digit number of days for a house to sell, right? And so that's just caused this extreme inflation in the prices, right? And so now last thing, let's look at how many homes have sold, right? So we're just significantly down, right? So the peak during COVID was we had 54 in 2022, and now we only had 30 last year, right? So what's my takeaway is that right now the inventory is still quite limited, right, for all of Silicon Valley, and that's causing things to sell quite high. And I'm hearing of multiple offers and houses selling hundreds of thousands of dollars over the list price. And what that means for sellers is that it's quite a strong time to sell to get top dollar, and for buyers, it takes a little bit of creativity in getting your offer accepted because it's quite competitive right now. What I've been seeing is that the stock market has done quite well, and local companies around here have done quite well, and so that's increased competition on the buyer side because many of the buyers here in the Bay Area work for the tech companies, right? So it's still possible and people are still buying homes, but it's a little bit more challenging for buyers now than it was last year when things were a little bit calmer, right? So next time we'll look at either the East Bay or the Peninsula. And if you have a preference, please send us a message and we'll try to get to those questions. Thank you and see you next time.